Teams. I know due to time difference, we are not able to have a meeting, so I just want to do a short videos of this stuff and then send you the links. You download them and then you can watch them at your own time. So, first of all, I would like to establish some concepts so you know much about what we want to explain. So, before we move into LSMW, we need to understand what we call data migration tool. So, just like the name says, data migration tool, just to migrate data from one system to another. So, the tool we use in SAP is what I want to explain. So, the first one we call it BDC, which is batch data communication, and then the second one is what we call Lsmw, which is legacy system migration workbench. Okay, I tried to explain one or two things, the difference between them and why Lsmw is mostly preferred. The Lsmw uses what we call, though there are several methods you can use during Lsmw data migration, but the thing is the BDC is more of a technical data migration. So it's more of a technical data migration process, while the Lsmw is both technical and functional data migration. So as functional consultants, you will prefer to use the Lsmw than the BDC, because in this one it involves some form of configuration. Yeah, there are some serious configuration you need to do here, while in this place you are going to do less configuration. Okay, that's one thing. Another one, that there is limit involved in there's a limit of 999 records that you can upload. Why this is form of there's no limit for record upload. So you can believe with me that this Lsmw seems to be the best than this one, especially for functional consultants like we. So as I go down, since we are comfortable with Lsmw, I will just narrow my explanation to how we are going to use Lsmw for data migration. Okay, now before I jump into the actual stuff, I'm just trying to create the environment for you to understand better what Lsmw is all about. So I'll bring up some terms that we might see during the lesson. So the first one is what we call import data. import data. So import data like the legacy data in the spreadsheet, legacy data in spreadsheet or file, no sequential file. So that's import data. Now convert data. So another one called convert data, or you can also call it let's say converted data. Okay, these are data that has been converted into the target system. So in this case now, so if this is our non-SAP system, this is going to be our SAP system. So this is going to be our SAP system. So in this case, then we'd also have what we call imported data. Now imported data is the data that is already in RO3 database, RO3 system. Let me just put it RO3 database system, which is a SAP database. And since this is not S4HANA, it can be any other database or maybe HANA database. So import data, the one that is still in non-SAP system. Converted data is the one you've converted into SAP system. Then imported data is one that is now converted and is already inside SAP system. There are other terms too I would like to explain, but let me just jump to the one that are important. In course of learning, we might come across another one that is called projects. There are some terms called projects, sub-projects, and okay, I think we have only project and sub-project. So for projects, we look at let's say it's like an organizational unit, an OU, that you are trying to, you want to migrate the data for. Now the sub project is like a subsystem of the unit you want to migrate the data for. Say, so let's take for instance, we have a project for, let's say, migrating equipment master data. So that's the project. Okay, the sub project will now be the plant where we want to migrate the master data for. Then the data itself will now be the master data, equipment master data we want to migrate. So these are the terms used in data migration. So to look out for LSMW, I've already explained it, that stands for Legacy System Migration Workbench, and the LSMW is mostly used by functional consultants, and it has about 14 steps. 14 steps before, let me say 14 steps to convert non-SAP data into SAP data. So like convert master non-SAP master data, let's say master data into SAP master data. So now in course of data transfer or in course of data migration, there are modes of data migration. We have the first one is called standard input. The second one is called batch recording. It's called batch recording. And then the third one is BAPI. BAPI, and then we have another one that is called IDOC. Okay, each of them they do the same thing, but just that the processes are a bit different. And the input record, the standard input takes into account all the input fields. Let's say input fields. So what I mean by input fields is all the fields in the database. But the difference is that the batch recording only takes into account the fields you consider important that you want to upload the master data for. So you know how we used to fill equipment, we can skip some part, we can leave some part, you can just be recording only those fields that you think you need. By the standard input, it takes care of almost all the input fields. Then you can decide which one you need to upload and which one you don't want to. But it's always preferable to give them the standard input. But for the sake of this class, I'm going to look at for only batch recording, because that's what is common. So I'm going to stop the tutorial at this point and then continue the next recording.